Humanity is being divided by something spiritual, something far beyond any human system. Right now, behind the routines, the news, the appearance of normality, a silent separation is underway, not of bodies, but of souls. It's not about politics, religion, or geography, but about frequency. And though you can't see it with your eyes, the chosen ones feel it in their spirit. As I'll explain to you, everything is part of a cosmic plan, guided by the intelligence of the universe itself. This split was foretold over 500 years ago by one of the most enigmatic prophets in history, Nostradamus. He spoke of the arrival of a time when two realities would open, one for the chosen ones, another for those still asleep. And if you're here now, it's not by chance. The calling is resonating in your field, and this message has reached you at the exact moment it was meant to. The prophecy will be unveiled here step by step, like a spiritual map. And by the end, when the full prophecy is revealed, I'll share something every chosen one needs to understand before the veil falls for good. If you feel that your soul carries a great calling and purpose, comment below. I am a chosen one, and I've already chosen my path. I also want to express my deep gratitude to those who already follow this channel and continuously support this work by leaving a super thanks or dropping that boost of hype that fuels this mission. A special thank you, the seed of the harvest. Nostradamus didn't write like the men of his time. His messages came in cryptic fragments called quatrains, poetic quartets filled with symbols, metaphors, and hidden truths. One of his most mysterious quatrains appears in Century 8, number 41. It speaks of a division that would fall upon the earth, sending beings down opposite paths. The language seems obscure at first glance, but all it takes is a heart that's awake to see. It speaks of the vibrational split of humanity, and that time has come. In the spiritual interpretation of this prophecy, a multitude is being fractured. Some walk toward the light, not physical light, but inner awakening. Others are carried into the black waters, a symbol of unconsciousness, density, and control. It's not punishment, it's resonance. Reality is splitting like tectonic plates, not in geography, but in perception. The Earth remains in the same place, but two frequencies now share the same space without ever touching. This is the invisible harvest Nostradamus hinted at with veiled words. Curiously, cinema may also have drawn from this profound prophecy for those who knew how to see beyond the surface. The movie Jupiter Ascending, a story filled with science fiction and space opera elements, despite the criticism, carries a hidden and deeply spiritual message. Within the plot, the original term harvest describes a practice where a hidden dominant race extracts the vital energy of human beings as if they were crops in a field. That is exactly what is happening now, in another layer of reality. Souls are being divided by frequency, by spiritual maturity, by inner readiness. It's no coincidence that the film wasn't a popular hit. It wasn't made to please, but to awaken. And like every prophecy, it was mocked by those who only see the surface. That's why I leave you with this invitation. After watching this video to the end, watch this movie with the eyes and understanding you're about to receive here. You will never see it the same way again. Because the prophecy isn't just in ancient books. It's being acted out before our eyes, in symbols, in stories, and most of all, in the frequency of your soul. The division doesn't come with sirens or headlines. It begins quietly, in the subtlest of habits, in thoughts that shift, in food that no longer nourishes, in relationships that break without explanation. Chosen ones start to feel an urgency they can't explain. It's as if time is speeding up, and everything that once felt comfortable begins to unravel. The old life collapses from within before it crumbles on the outside. Meanwhile, those who sleep cling to control. The chosen ones, in contrast, let go. They no longer want comforting lies. They want the truth, even if it hurts. This isn't a war of weapons, but of frequencies. It's a silent battle between what vibrates in the light and what drags itself through the density. The chosen ones become spiritual compasses. They feel before they understand. They know before they learn. Their decisions come from vibration, not logic. It's as if a new system is operating within them, attuning with something invisible, yet more real than any appearance. Some scientists have already started calling this the informational field. We call it awakening, the traps of sleep. We live today on a planet where the real war is not being fought with weapons, but with vibrations. Invisible frequencies shape behaviors, beliefs, and perceptions. Most people don't even realize the field they are immersed in. Distraction is constant, and the noise, relentless. The modern world has become a machine of collective anesthesia. And according to some esoteric lines of thought, this is no accident. Some say negative forces have structured the entire system to keep as many souls as possible in spiritual slumber. Technology, social media, visual and auditory stimuli are the tools of this mass hypnosis. Entertainment doesn't entertain. It distracts. Information doesn't clarify. It numbs. Everything was designed to keep the mind from stopping, to keep the being from looking within. And in the midst of it all, the chosen ones become like points of light in a dark field. They seek silence because in it, they find clarity. They follow intuition because that's where the true direction lies. They see signs others call coincidences. They are guided by something unseen, yet vibrating with precision. At this point, the concept of consciousness fields becomes essential. There are currents of mental and spiritual energy that flow through the planet, morphogenetic fields that connect ideas, emotions, and beings with similar purposes. The chosen ones tune into these fields almost instinctively. They think of something, and it happens. They feel something, and it manifests. It's not magic, it's subtle physics. And the more they connect with these higher fields, the farther they drift from the collective illusion. Nostradamus' own prophecy foretold that a time would come when the righteous would be seen as foolish, and deceivers would be exalted. That time is now. Values have been inverted. What is simple is now seen as weak. What is honest as naive, and what is perverse as intelligent. This inversion is not just social, it's vibrational. A symbolic code has been inserted into the collective field. A psychic manipulation designed to confuse even those who are awakening. Many chosen ones feel this misalignment as a constant discomfort. It's the sensation of not belonging, of always being in the wrong place, of never quite fitting in. But it's not failure. It's a sign that their souls are already vibrating on a different frequency, a frequency that clashes with distortion. That's why the chosen ones are often the first to be rejected, misunderstood, or discredited. They carry the map of reconstruction, while the world is still clinging to the chaos of destruction. But even the awakening has been manipulated. Many paths that promise enlightenment are nothing but circular mazes, movements that mimic spirituality but trap their followers in a disguised ego. Psychic abilities, visions, channelings, these can all be real. But without unification with the all, they become traps. The shadow also knows how to disguise itself as light, and the ego loves to wear mystical robes to keep dominating insecure hearts. Many are selling unity that is, in truth, just uniformity. A false peace that demands conformity. A light without fire that neither burns illusions nor transforms realities. It's a spirituality without soul, a path that avoids pain, and in doing so, also avoids truth. And that kind of journey never leads to ascension. It only leads to temporary comfort. That's why the true calling is for the few, because it hurts, it breaks, it renews. The true path of enlightenment is not paved with flowers, but with truth. It demands courage to let go, boldness to rebuild, and humility not to seek control. That's why it's lonely. Not because it's empty, but because so few have the courage to walk it all the way through. The chosen ones, however, were made for this. They didn't come to fit in. They came to rise. And for that, they must cross every trap, not as someone who flees, but as someone who sees and transcends. The call of the awakened. Among Nostradamus's many prophecies, there are cryptic mentions of the rise of special souls during decisive times. Children and young people who would bring unusual gifts, early wisdom, and a sensitivity that doesn't fit in this world. These are what we now recognize as multi-dimensional chosen ones. Souls carrying ancestral codes and memories from subtler realms. Beings who incarnated with the mission of anchoring new frequencies on this planet in transition. They show signs from an early age: natural mediumship, lucid dreams, heightened intuition, and a deep rejection of the matrix structures. Many feel out of place without knowing why. But now, the pieces are starting to come together. If you suspect you might be one of them, or know someone who carries these marks, I recommend watching the special content on the marks of the multi-dimensional chosen ones after this video. I'll leave the link in the pinned comment below so you can find out whether this call is also vibrating within you. Nostradamus also predicted the collapse of human structures, not just in wars or governments, but in everything humanity once held as foundational. Politics, religion, economics, science. Everything is beginning to fall, not as punishment, but as liberation. The fall of the old world is the space needed for the new to emerge. For the asleep, it will feel like chaos. For the chosen ones, it will be clarity. The collapse of illusions will come like a storm. But this is not the end of the world. It's the end of the lie. The structures not based in truth will be dissolved by the planetary field itself. And the chosen ones will know that nothing is being lost, only returned to the all. For them, destruction is not the end. It's transition. It's the fire that purifies. They won't see disaster. They'll see a new beginning. The separation of realities will become more and more evident, not physically, but in the way each person perceives the same events. A single occurrence will be seen as tragedy by some, and liberation by others. The chosen ones will begin to live in a distinct perceptual field. Earth will remain in the same place, but within parallel realities. And this distinction will deepen with each choice, each thought, each vibration. Chosen ones will gain increasing access to subtle information, revealing dreams, accurate premonitions, inexplicable synchronicities. They'll begin to decode hidden symbols and sense collective movements before they unfold. They will be seen as dramatic, mystical, or crazy, but they're simply perceiving layers still invisible to others. Meanwhile, the asleep will sink into complaints, distractions, and suffering, without knowing why. We will begin to witness what can only be described as miracles, not as violations of nature, but as natural manifestations of an expanded field. The chosen ones will experience healing, protection, psychic powers, and revelations. But along with this intense light will come the densest shadow, because where there is light, there is contrast. And this coexistence of frequencies will be the final chance for many to choose which side they wish to vibrate with. The shadow will scream, but the light will not retreat. In Nostradamus's veiled words were also hidden the signs of the true guides, those who would arise in this time, not as charismatic leaders, but as invisible pillars, beings without titles, without applause, without recognition, but with a deep mission. They are the bridge keepers, those who hold the balance between worlds, between realities, between dimensions. They will not present themselves as masters. They won't seek followers, but their mere presence will shift environments. They work in silence, often discredited, but never diverted. They are spiritual anchors in a sea of confusion. And that is why the chosen ones were not called to flee Earth, but to sustain it, to keep alive the bridges between the visible and the invisible, even when everything around seems to fall apart. The soul's choice. The cruelest lie in this world was never the illusion of the system. It's the attempt to convince the chosen one that they are alone, that their sensitivity is weakness, that their pain is isolation. But that's just another layer of the vibrational prison. The truth is, there are thousands of others like you, scattered across the world, feeling the same restlessness, awakening in the same silence. There is an invisible web connecting the chosen ones, a vibrational grid woven through the collective unconscious. Every elevated thought you emit reaches this network. Every conscious act echoes throughout the entire field. And this channel, created by a chosen one for chosen ones, is a reminder of that connection. Make sure you're subscribed. Here, every word is a link. Every video is a beacon. We've arrived at the most revealing part of this prophecy. Nostradamus spoke of the existence of two Earths, a symbolic concept carrying deep metaphysical truths. The best way to explain this is the emergence of two reincarnation pathways. The separation of souls will be natural, silent, and inevitable. It's all frequency, nothing imposed, everything attracted. What was once blended is now beginning to align. The chosen ones, through vibrational affinity with the higher realms, will continue to reincarnate on this Earth in the process of ascension. An Earth where light will prevail, where wisdom will begin to guide civilization. Here, the new era that so many have awaited will manifest, an era based on truth, healing, and unification with the All. Those who remain asleep, due to their still dense frequency, will move on to another plane. This won't be punishment, it will be resonance. They will reincarnate on a more primitive, archaic planet where suffering is the main tool of learning. It will be like returning to the time of caves, survival, struggle, basic instincts. There they will have the chance to evolve through the harsher path. And that's why certain negative forces try so hard to keep humanity unconscious. Because in that other realm, the control they can exert over those souls will be even more direct. Remember, for negative beings, the only thing that matters is power. This separation holds the key to the new Earth, or even the new era. The one described in sacred texts, glimpsed by initiates, and dreamed of by ancient souls. An Earth without pain, without hunger, without war. Not a mystical paradise, but a real world, right here. Inhabited only by awakened chosen ones, united by the vibration of love, wisdom, and expanded consciousness. A new collective paradigm will be born, as a direct result of the vibrational leap of the souls. This phenomenon is not fantasy. It's quantum physics applied to consciousness, a natural process of soul relocation, like rivers flowing along different paths. Each will be guided by what they are, not by what they claim to be. Frequency doesn't lie, and what you vibrate today is defining the world you'll inhabit tomorrow. Everyone can live on an evolved planet, but some will choose to arrive first. There's no time left for doubt. The call is happening. The divide is underway, and your soul knows it. The decision isn't made with words, but with choices, with actions, with vibration. It's all in your mind, in your thoughts, in your beliefs, and in the way you look at others. Who you are is shouting to the universe. If this message awakened something deep within you, comment. I chose to stay on Earth and remain awake, and I'll send you an exclusive video chosen by my intuition that aligns perfectly with your journey. Once again, I thank all the followers of this channel, and especially those who offer tremendous support to my work through the super thanks, or by hitting that hype button right here on YouTube. Something essential for this message to reach more chosen ones. And remember, you are not here to find a purpose. You are the purpose experiencing itself. Thank you for watching until the end. I hope to see you in the next video. A life of infinite possibilities awaits you.